tweet that I made this morning. Okay. Charlie going back and forth and like, what do you call retweeting me and me retweeting her and quote tweeting. It's been a shit show this morning on Twitter. Charlie said some bullshit to me. I could pull it up for the exact wording, but chinless, blah, blah, and just went on and on about her stupid shit. And I had a pretty vicious take back at her. My vicious take back was about a GoFundMe that Charlie had made, begging for a trip to Hawaii in her past at a time that she was apparently housebound, almost bedbound, because of her weight. Okay. And I made a reference to welfare and at the same time begging for a trip to Hawaii. That the fact that I use the word welfare is now being used as Frenchie's a racist, as always, because that's always the argument. When I'm going to say this, every country outside of the United States, nobody equates welfare to race. It's just not a thing. And it really isn't. Not trying to excuse what I said, but like in a way I am, because had I lived in a country where one equals the other, obviously I'm not going to be using a word like that when speaking to or tweeting about a Black woman. That's pretty obvious. Where I live, welfare equals lazy. So making the point about somebody who ate themselves to a size where they're housebound and now begging for a trip to Hawaii as if they needed a vacation. It was the point of lazy, had nothing to do with race. That's been going back and forth all day on Twitter and, oh, it's racist. No, it's not racist. Everyone outside of the state saying that where they come from, it's just not racist. It's equated to lazy. Everyone in the states sending these articles about something called a welfare queen, which is a stereotypically Black woman. That's a term that I've never heard before. And I would bet that everybody outside of the United States had never heard that term before. It's just not equated to race outside of the United States. It is not a thing. But I will say this, okay? That's my ignorance. I don't know about every detail in the States. I just don't. And I'm not trying to sound like Chantal about it, because when informed about something I didn't know about, I'm not going to go on and on and on about the thing, obviously. I would like to apologize for having said welfare to a Black woman in the United States. I can only blame my ignorance because, like I said, that is not at all a thing outside of the United States. It's just not. It is equated to laziness, not at all race. And in fact, where I live, where I grew up, it is normally used as a stereotype against, let's say, the French-speaking, what they call the pure laine, white Quebecois people. Never at all used as a race thing, though. It's always to equate laziness. So, again, I am sorry to anybody in the States who was offended. That's a bad way to apologize. I mean, I'm sorry if I offended you, but I am sorry for having offended anybody in the States with my using of the word welfare in a takedown insult to a Black woman. It was never my intent. I literally meant lazy. And if because the word welfare is being harped on real hard on Twitter today, if you read the entire tweet, the context of the word and the fact that I am using it to equate lazy is it's obvious in the wording of the rest of the tweet. It just is. So that's all I got to say. Again, I apologize for offending and using that word against an American woman when that is a racial stereotype in your country. I didn't know. I now know. I would never say something like that again. And I would have never, ever, ever have said it if I had known. That's all it is. All right?
Hi, guys, and welcome to tailored talk. Now, before I do a deep dive on FFG and Charlie from the beginning, I wanted to talk about one thing that FFG said in her apology video. This sentence really stood out to me. So I thought I'd kind of pick this apart and debunk it and examine this like step by step. So, to defend herself about the welfare tweet, she said no one outside of the US equates welfare. No one outside of the US equates welfare with race. Now, as a person that's currently outside of the US, I nearly choked on my coffee when I heard that because FFG is lying, pure and simple. She's lying about that 110%. Now, FFG already knows about the Reagan presidency stereotyping and the origins of the term welfare queen, but the global stereotyping of minorities is something that she needs to research because it is extremely real all over the world. So I'll take you back to a TV show called Without Prejudice. And on this show, it's kind of got a
because he's
clip
black.
known as one of
Are
the
you
most
even serious right
racist
now?
TV
You know, I'm a
moments
minority, but I got a
in TV
problem.
history.
I was gonna say.
When a man
Hold
called
on.
AJ
You're like a
refuses to
minority
give any money
yourself.
Absolutely.
to a man called Michael,
We rode
purely
in
based on
yesterday
his race.
together,
And
so
this is
I'm
what
to
he
assume,
said.
based on what you just said, that you don't like me because I'm black.
I'm talking in
I
a general sense here, but the fact is,
general sense of how much
that I
more
look
general
at
than you can be.
Michael-
Then you're sitting in a car with
Look,
somebody,
wait.
you're riding in it. You said it. You opened it up.
Am I?
You did that. Because I'm black.
I'm talking in a general sense here, but the fact is,
general sense of how much
that I
more
look
general
at
than you can be.
Michael-
Then you're sitting in a car with
Look,
somebody,
wait.
you're riding in it. You said it. You opened it up.
Am I?
You did that.
Okay,
You
let me tell
did
you
that.
this.
You must
okay,
be
one
out of
thing.
your-
It doesn't matter if we wrote
Is
in
it
or not.
censored if I
It doesn't
curse by
matter. I don't
mistake?
know you from anybody. Okay?
You
we
must
share
be
the same
out of your
cab,
mind to say
but you know
something
what?
like that.
My personal beliefs and my personal experience, I don't like them.
Your personal
I never have,
beliefs are gonna set
and I
you
never
back.
will.
What is it about black people that you don't like?
This ought to be good.
Yeah. I'm strapping in for this one.
Yeah, well, strap tight.
You might want to strap me in for this one.
Well, the thing is, you know, based on the experience and the people I've worked with, where I come from, I'm sick and tired of people thinking, specifically, I am mentioning black people, thinking we owe them something, that the world owes them something.
ask where you come
I'm
from?
totally opposed to affirmative action.
Where you from?
I don't want people to give me a job just because I'm brown. I want people to know that I have the credentials. You know, Polynesians don't have a BET. We don't get all pissed off when we don't have an NAACP that comes and
And whose
Yeah, but
fault is
wait a
that?
minute. You don't know
people.
that this
Who's that?
First off, I just want to know where you're from.
I grew up on the islands,
Where?
overseas,
Overseas, and there's no black people over there?
Where overseas? Like what islands? What are you talking
near the
about?
Hawaiian Islands.
The Polynesian Islands.
I'm a
is.
Polynesian, yes.
When did you come to America?
And I live in the South. There are plenty of black people there, and I had quite the opportunity to be able to work with these people. And you know what? No, I won't.
That is so.
AJ, the man that had those racist views, is highly praised in the comments that are worldwide, that he's absolutely right about everything that he said. So the opinion that AJ just said about black people is a worldwide black stereotype, that black people are lazy, that black people are entitled, that they don't want to work, and that black people scheme to get and stay on welfare. That is a global black stereotype. It's also a global stereotype of minorities as a whole. So we're going to move on from black people and talk about brown people as well. So Donald Trump made that controversial racist statement about Latinos in 2015. Now, that statement got him kicked off of The Apprentice, and then he started his political career. Now, after that controversial comment, Kelly Osbourne was on The View, and she was a co host, and she made an equally racist comment about Latinos. So Kelly Osbourne said, well, Donald Trump, if you kick out all the Latinos, who is going to clean your toilets? And the audience went silent. She is joking, but she's also implying that Latino people are only fit for menial work. And then again, like with black people, there's the stereotype that Latinos and Hispanics are lazy, that they don't want to work, that they may turn to crime, and that they may prefer welfare over hard work and over a 9 to 5 job. That's also a global stereotype. Now, let's go outside of the US. Romanian gypsies, aka travelers, they travel everywhere across the world, and they've actually suffered through racism, forced evictions, racially motivated attacks, police abuse, segregation from others, and bullying from local children and adults around their area. In Wales, the Asian population has also faced harassment and discrimination. When the Asian population arrived, they had an extremely high level of education, but there was still the implication that the government would take away finances, benefits known as welfare, from the white working class Welsh population and spend it on the Asian population instead. And of course, the white Welsh population back in the 70s and 80s, they kind of resented the influx of Asian people that were coming into their country. So, of course, they were racially harassed, you know, were harassed. They were degraded. They went through housing discrimination. The some some of the Asian families would build restaurants from the ground up, and then would come and then the locals would come by and destroy them and put spray paint on them, bombard them with racist abuse, spray paint racist abuse on their property. There's also Australian Indigenous people and New Zealanders and people of colour. They've also suffered racism and harassment concerning jobs, stereotyping, profiling, also profiling from the educational system and segregation, the denial of access of schooling and education, hate speech, the implication that they're not good enough for jobs and they need to go on financial aid, aka welfare. Now, let's talk about FFG's hometown, Canada. Now, black and brown people of colour do face racial discrimination from Canadians. There's job discrimination, police harassment, medical discrimination that was revealed during COVID, everyday discrimination that black and brown people go through while doing errands. Just because FFG hasn't seen it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, in my opinion. I think FFG needs to do a personal apology, whether it's private or public, to Charlie, because as Charlie said, how are you going to apologize without using the victim's name? I do think FFG made an honest mistake, but the multiple apologies that she gave during her live were not genuine, and anybody can tell. It was like she was forced to read a script. It was clear that she was forced to do it. And I think they can become friends down the road, but FFG needs to acknowledge a lot of things. She needs to acknowledge the truth about what she said and maybe the truth about herself, but the truth about what she said and how stereotypical and how racist and how offensive she was. And until she really acknowledges that 1,000,000%, then Charlie has every right And until she really acknowledges that 1,000,000%, then Charlie has every right to call her out on what she said until it can be resolved properly and until FFG can give a heartfelt apology. Um, and when that happens, I do think Charlie and FFG can build fences. Can I just say that I am a big fan of FFG, but when I heard what she said, generalizing outside of the US and saying that outside of the US they didn't equate welfare with race, um, that was so incorrect. It was such an inaccurate statement that was used just to cover herself. Um, I felt like it was so dishonest that I had to make a video about it. I did not expect it to be this long, but if you're still here, thanks for listening. Take care. Here, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great day. Take care.